So, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Monday. Uh, I was spending the weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. I spent the weekend just having a really interesting, fun time, and it was really, really. I wanted to share a little bit of that story with you because I think it's very relatable to all of us in this mastermind. So I want to start out by our gratitude, and this was a picture that I thought was very, it sort of signifies what we talk about a lot. That gratification, gratitude, all of that really comes from your brain, and these are some of the benefits of practicing gratitude. So reaching more goals, improved health, better sleep, more energy, increasing likability, supporting others, and stronger love life. And I think all of those we would agree, and I said them out of order, but all of them we would agree are tremendous benefits of just practicing gratitude. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the power of the mastermind and why I think that, it's such a benefit for us that we do get together and talk. I was at this dinner on Saturday night, and Robert and I, several years ago, invested in a biotechnology company. And the biotechnology company was a friend of ours that we had known for a very long time, who had been involved in another biotechnology, which he sold off for $2.3 billion. So he was a successful guy in this industry. And when he decided to start his own company 5 years ago, he was looking for investors, and Robert and I thought, look, if we can afford to put that money towards that, it's definitely a risky business, but we believe in him mostly. We believe in the mission. We believe in what he's trying to do, and so periodically throughout the and by the way, they started very grassroots, with some investors. They had an architect who developed the product, and now they are in live trials for FDA and stuff like this. And this is not a drug; it's actually an implantable. And what it does is it actually it originally, it's talk about accidental discoveries. It originally was for hypertension. And they found that when they did some early on trials that it not only helped with that, but they could also utilize it for overactive bladder, for obesity, for depression, for all these things. And yet it wasn't a drug. It was something that could be a small thing that could be implanted on a nerve, and you could control it, almost like getting acupuncture on a weekly basis. But this was like you didn't have to do all of that. So it's been an interesting several years. And Saturday night, we went to a dinner, which they've had periodically throughout the years, of some doctors that were going to be starting the trials. And we heard from the doctors about why they thought that this particular procedure was so exciting and so revolutionary. And I preface that because what I realized was, and I know we all know this, but it was a great reminder in what we all do. So I'm going to kind of tell this story through what we're talking about today. And today we're talking about inventory. We're going to be talking a little bit about our business. And here's what when I was observing the thing, you have to realize that, Robert and I just invested money. We have nothing to do with the company. We don't run it. We don't show up for work there. We don't do anything. All we did was give money so that somebody else could build a company. Okay. And we have no guarantee that this will work. We have no guarantee but our mission, our why, the reason why we did it was based on, number one, that it could be a remedy that would help millions and millions of people, and that it would revolutionize the way that these particular ailments were treated, rather than drugs. Okay, so that was the reason why we decided to, and of course because we believed in who was building the company. But again, 5 years have gone by. Nothing's really happened. But from our point of view, I mean, stuff has happened. They're still raising money. They got their trial for FDA. They're doing lots of work, but we're sort of on the outside. We don't really know. We're not connected daily to the business. So we don't really know what's going on. We just hear periodically, whatever. And I tell you this because when you're not connected to your business, or you're not connected to what's going on, you forget about it. You forget about it until somebody brings your attention to it. And I think that that's happened with a lot of people in our teams, okay? Maybe some of our teams have gone to other companies. Maybe some of our teams are saying, I'll just go with mine. Some of my team is saying, I love the product. I'm not really, into selling anything right now. Whatever their reasons are, and including me. I've worked helping my daughter with her book. I'm working on my real estate. I've got a lot of stuff going on. But the people that are not connected daily to their business, forget about it. It doesn't enter in. And so inventory is an interesting part of the business because it's a reminder, if you are reminded, that there's some small things you can do to achieve some really big things. And so the idea about inventory is also to really check in with your business, to look at where you're at personally, and then the people in your business that probably are very close to things and have no idea. And by the way, not everybody runs a business the way they might or should, right? Because we veer off, or we're not really, we're not really connected. And I think that's the most important thing, because I'll tell you what happened on Saturday night. So, Robert and I are not connected every day to this business. We invested in it. We know it's great and all of that, but being there and really spending time there was 12 people at the table, and they were not all investors. There was a couple of investors there, but what they did was they brought to dinner 3 of the doctors that are doing the clinical trial. And those 3 doctors really spoke about why they got involved with this technology, and why they wanted to be the doctors that ran the trials, and what this remedy and what this procedure did for people, and how it was affecting not only the people that had to do the trial as a patient, but how it was affecting the business of the doctor. And so it was a rejuvenating experience. It was an exciting, exhilarating experience to be reminded about how incredible this technology is, and why we got involved in the first place, and why we think this is going to actually do something amazing and change the world, change the way people are treated, right? So I say that to you because in inventory, sometimes it's incredibly important to be able to identify the people in your business and yourself about why you are doing what you're doing, and how, by just having a conversation, can really change those small things into very big things happening. So when you can connect with a couple of people on your team who you may think, they're not really interested anymore, or maybe they went to another company, but they're still in Miriam. But, whatever it is their story is, when you can connect and reconnect and drive that feeling and drive that why, it's a powerful thing. It's a reminder of what that emotion was when they first got started, or when they first decided that they wanted to do this as a business, or maybe when they first thought, oh yeah, I like this product. And what was so interesting about Saturday night was, I haven't been to, a dinner with the shareholders and the people for probably a year. And the fact that these doctors, came and really spoke so incredibly passionate about what we believed in, to be able to actually give money. And I'm not just saying like $500. I'm saying a good chunk of change went into that mission for a lot of the people that invested. And so when I think about business, and I think about, look, it's summer, and people are on vacation, and people are running around, and, they're kind of like not maybe that focused on where you're at in your business. And so you're kind of looking at, should I bother them? Should I call them? I'm not sure. It feels weird. I don't know what to say. I think I go through that as well. And that's why it was such I said to Robert today, gosh, I have so much to do today. I have so many people to talk to because, I've been, it's my job to speak to people and say, look, I think you're really close to something. Do you have an interest? Do you have an interest in maybe getting 3 or 3 qualified? Do you have an interest in maybe becoming a senior brand partner? Do you have an interest in maybe going out and getting one more customer? Hey, are you going to the conference? I hear there's going to be lots of things about the comp plan and this and that. So it's our job as leaders, if that's what we want to do, to re-energize and refocus and get people excited and learn about why we're still doing this, why we're still in it, why we're still attracted to it, why it still, makes us happy. So go into your view rank requirements, and you can go line by line by line to people, and you can kind of see where their business is. And you can figure out where one thing might be missing. Even if you look at your own rank requirements and you're supposed to be a director or a senior director or executive director, whatever it is, it might say, one of your personals isn't active. That's a very easy fix. That's a small thing. And that can change a whole trajectory of business by making one small purchase. And, it's a philosophy in doing that. So I say to you, look at who's 3 or 3 qualified, because 3 or 3 qualification can make the difference in somebody being qualified as a BP. Okay. Because if you have over 200 in customers and you don't have a personal ADO, you're qualified to be paid. Who's close to senior brand partner? Again, that could be very simple of maybe turning on an ADO, and I put an example here. Who's close to the director? Find those people and help them get there. Help them get there by achieving something and say, look, if you knew that you could maybe get your product for free, would that be interesting to you? Would you like to work on that? We've got some time. And that's the beauty of it. We've got some time. A lot of magic happens. We know that all the auto ships have all been shipped for this month of June. We know that all of the business that has been done up until the 23rd, everything's been shipped that's going to ship. So between now and the end of the month, it's all new business. It's all creating magic. It's all helping people to achieve small things. So first and foremost, you want to have a personal ADO or an active ADO or enough customers to be able to have that. I personally think it's pretty simple to have an active ADO. With the amount of products that we have, they're so darn good. It shouldn't be that hard to have your own active ADO, but if for any reason that you don't, you want to have enough customers to cover that. Personal 3 or free. I mean, it just is what it is. 3 personal brand partners who have an active ADO. Why? Because you want to make sure that you have your 3 so that you can be active. Now, you guys, I know that they're going to be changing the comp plan, and I know we've gone over this for several years, but I think that it's very important that we understand how to help people stay active in a very small way that doesn't really, we got to make it simple is what I'm trying to say, okay? So to get a senior brand partner, you have to have a personal active ADO. You want to be personally 3 or free, right? Because you want that, you want those customers. You want to have your 3 personal brand partners who have an active ADO. And you want to make sure in that little group that you have at least 1,500 of group qualifying volume. That's a senior brand partner. And so with the 60-40 rule, which by the way is an industry rule, it's not, I don't think it's Miriam trying to make things hard. I think it's an important part of comp plans. Your leg 1 can have most of the volume. It can have 60% of the volume. Your leg 2 can have pretty much 35% of the volume. And your leg 3 can have an ADO, and you can be a senior brand partner. So when you're looking at your business and you're looking at things like, how does this work? How can I help? Explain to people how you can simply help them in a very simple way. So that's a senior brand partner. And if you duplicate that with 3 people, then you have a director. And that's where you want to live, okay? And I don't know that we go over that as much as we used to, because a lot of us on this, we've all been in the business for a long time. But when you live in the brand new, you live in the new, you live in the creating that senior brand partner or just having people that are, remember, if you have 3 active brand partners, if you're a brand partner and you have 3 active brand partners and all of you have an ADO and all of you have $400 in product for customers, that person is a senior brand partner. It can be done with just an active ADO and customers. So there's a lot of ways that you can create small things, okay? And that creates growth. Every time you speak to somebody and you make something happen, you're growing. And it's not just maintaining, you're growing. You're helping somebody grow in that area. And over time, that growth, I don't know how many people I've talked to in the last probably few months that have said, I haven't been really working my business at Nurian, but I get a check every month. Whether it's $500, $800, $300, or $20. I haven't really done anything, and I seem to get money in my pocket. Well, that's the power of what residual income does. And residual income, it is located in other businesses. It's just in the network marketing business. It's a much bigger conversation. So when I had my talent agency, I had 800 clients. And if they did a SAG commercial and it ran over and over and over and over and over again, that was called residual income. They got a paycheck, and guess what? I did too. And a lot of times, yeah, we worked and we tried to get them more commercials, but there was a lot of time where, they had many months of not working, but that residual check kept coming in. The difference is that check starts to diminish if you don't get more airtime. Whereas in this particular world, if you continue to work and you're continually doing the activities and you're continually trying, the idea is that you could go several months with getting a check and not having done much yourself. And that either will decline eventually if you don't do anything. So you can't really expect the same amount of money every single month if you're not willing to do the same amount of activity. That's a big component of it, okay? So of course, I go back to Jim Rohn. If you want to have more, you have to become more. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. For things to improve, you have to improve. If you grow, everything grows for you. So personally, responsibility is the key. And we all get in our funks, and I say that only because I have them as well. And we get a little bit lost on focus, and we get a little bit lost on what to do first. And sometimes it becomes very overwhelming. So start with yourself in inventory. Always start with yourself. Keep it simple. You want to reach out to your old and new influencers. This is a good time to go to your influencers and say, look, I'm doing inventory on my business. I noticed that, you need one ADO and you're free qualified. I thought I should give you a call and, see if I can help you get there. To a new influencer, you're saying, hey, I'm doing inventory on my business. And boy, I would love you to check this out. I am very passionate about, and start talking about why you're passionate about your business. Because I'll tell you, the other night when we were there, I knew a lot about the business, but it was interesting. The owner of the company, the CEO, he said, while I have the doctors here, does anybody have any questions? And I had a ton of questions. I think I was one of maybe only 3 people who asked questions, and I asked the majority of the questions. And even Jeff, who's the CEO, another Jeff, he said, well, Annie, thank you so much for all your questions. And they were important questions that I didn't know a little bit about the answer, but I wanted to hear more. But mostly I wanted those doctors to hear these questions because they were so passionate about the company. I wanted them to understand from an investor's point of view, why we were impassioned by the project and why we needed their expertise to really move the project forward. So ask questions, ask questions, and know your why. Get back to that, know your why and ask your why to people. Ask their why, right? Belief, faith, desire, consistency, follow-up. Those are the things that just move things forward on a consistent basis. You've got to be reminded of that. That's another reason to, create that network within your network. You guys show up here, create your own too. Create a network of people that you can constantly feed yourself with and feed them the information, and then repeat, right? Repeat the information. So that is my inventory today. I don't know if you guys want to, we can open it up. I think I did this right, Randy. My Zoom is doing things I don't know it's doing. Okay, so let's open it up, and if you have any questions or comments, let's talk about it. Anybody?
Annie, this is Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
This was so powerful this morning, really hitting home. I mean, I know you kind of go through something like this after the 23rd every month, and I listen and I'm interested, but today something just landed with me, and I am excited to get on those calls. So thank you so much.
Oh, that's good, Barbara. Well, what was it though? What part?
Well, one of the things I think was your excitement about the investment that you and Robert have made. There was a different excitement with you that was engaging. So I think even though the information was very similar and very orderly, it really landed with me. And then at the end, I've been listening to Darren Hardy, Jim Rohn, the one that they do together, where he asks the questions and then plays back the recording of Jim Rohn as if he's doing an interview. And so when you put the last screen on there with Jim Rohn, if you want to change, if you want change, then you have to change. If you want something better, you have to become better. That just kind of wrapped everything up for me and sealed it and really invigorated my enthusiasm. So thank you for that.
Okay, so I want you to know that personally, why I asked you that question is because I had a much bigger excitement when I left that dinner the other night, and I equate it a lot to when you're in business. Sometimes you can get in a funk and you can say, oh, this is hard, and I don't know if I want to call all these people, and I think they might be sick of hearing my voice and whatever. But the reality is that, I really didn't even, this dinner came up very last minute for Robert and I, and we were available. And as I said, we hadn't been reconnected on this for almost a year. We just got little updates and whatever. So we didn't really, you guys have never really heard me talk about it that much, because I don't really know day-to-day stuff that's going on. So it's not, but boy, oh boy, when I heard, and this, I think this speaks to going to conference and showing up at things and whatever. Most of us on this Zoom, we've been in this company for quite a while, and it makes sense, right? If people go to other companies or things fall out, it makes sense that you kind of feel like, oh, I don't know, and you have questions and you don't feel good about certain things. But the reality is when you get reminded of why you were so passionate in the beginning, why you were so passionate about, sharing this with people, why you were so passionate about showing up to things. It's a really good reminder. And it doesn't mean that Miriam is the only company in the world, but a lot of times people, what we do is we need to reinvest in that feeling, okay? We need to reinvest ourselves into that feeling. And so for me, being at that dinner, I was reminded, okay, of why. And I think that going to the conference is a good reminder. So maybe in your inventory calls, maybe it's a good idea to talk to people about, hey, I'm going to a conference to hear a lot about what's going on with my company. And I know we're talking about some new products and things like that. And I'm really excited. And I'm going to bring it back. And I just wanted to let you know I'm going to be having an event at my house on this date. I wanted to get to you fast. If it's a brand partner that isn't going to the conference, you want to do a personal download because it's fresh in your mind. It's something that you're going to be excited when you get home, and you want to be able to share that with the people that may have a question on what it is you're doing. So these are ways to reinvigorate yourself with the information, with the people around you, because it's going to happen. All of us are going to be there. We're all going to get excited and invigorated. It's bringing it back and being able to have that conversation, whether it's a small dinner like I went to, whether it's inviting a leader over to express that passion for you. But these are ways to help you, because we're all in the same boat. We all feel the same things at times. Okay, I'm not saying we all do today, but it happens where you kind of go through day to day to day and you don't know, where everybody stands. Inventory is a great time to figure that out, to go to people and say, where are you at? Where are you at? What are you feeling? And here's the thing. When people say things like, I don't know if I'm into it, or I'm actually over here, I found another company and I'm a little more excited about it, blah, 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 blah. People like new. They like to be excited about something new. That's human nature. So to bring that back, you have to bring them new. You have to say, well, you know what? I totally get it. I got to tell you though, about something really exciting. I'm on this mastermind group, and it doesn't matter what company you're in. You might want to, we should probably do something like that together and just keep in touch and keep going and talk about, why we're excited and blah, blah, blah. So you never want to discount other people, what they do, what they're going, because I think that energy filters back to you. And it was a great reminder this weekend that, I was around, these doctors that, are pretty, one was out of Stanford. These are really quality doctors who were so excited about a new technology that they'd never seen before. And that's kind of what we have here, right? We still have it. And yes, there's a lot of great products out there, and there's a lot of, and that was one of the questions I said, well, what other products are out there that does what this does, and how do they work? It was a good question. They really appreciated that, because they got to think about the differences, why one patient might choose this over this. And it's the same thing that we have. We have tremendous products, and there's a lot of products out there. Why would somebody choose this over that? And what would be the difference? And why would somebody want to work with you rather than work with somebody else? So that was kind of like what was invigorating to me. And I wanted to share it with you guys, because I think it's very relatable to what we do. So, yeah. So anyway, anybody else have anything to share?
I do, Annie. It's Connie.
Hi, Connie.
Hi. So I got totally reconnected with, I was talking to Carolyn DeLima and about doing an event. And last week, I was getting product out and following up, and what I did was, and it was something different for me, so I'm really excited about it, and I just want to, share it with everybody. After I signed her up as a customer, actually Suze Clayton signed her up as a customer. She was my third party. And after that, I followed up with her again, and I said, listen, just because you bought some product, I would love to come in and do like a spa day for you and some of your friends. And she goes, oh my gosh, Connie, that would be great. I can think of some people that would love that. And I go, well, let's set up a date. So that's what we're doing now. So like anyone who signs up as a customer, I'm just going to go with that, because it felt really good, and she was excited and I was excited. It was awesome. So I just wanted to share that.
Well, that's a great story and a great idea. I love it. Love it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Connie. Anybody else? Caroline, you are so cute. Oh. Well, anyway, I know we went kind of long today, but I just wanted to share that with you, and I so appreciate each and every one of you plugging in today. And if you have anything that you want to talk about this week, Randy's going to talk about the downloading of the iPhone and the computer on Wednesday. So if you have technological questions on being able to share information, that would be a really good one to not only get yourself on, but people on your team that might want that. And let's just keep doing inventory and keep working towards closing out the month as best as we can. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Thank you, Annie.
Thanks, Annie.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Annie.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.